Yeah!
Okay, Ava just cheered. I was about to the intro. Ava interrupted me because she's so excited. I'm back.
I am.
Oh, that's nice. Love Podcast Ain't Nonsense. It's the PoliticsJOE podcast. I'm back.
Look, you've got that big Scottish tan.
Don't talk about my vitamin D deficiency.
He's fresh.
Yeah, how are you? How have things been?
Been assailed by the police, haven't I?
Talk about your morning.
I was trapped in a crime scene.
We got a text from Ava saying, I'm going to be late. I'm surrounded by police lines. I was like, where the fuck are you?
I actually was. I couldn't get out.
Just surrounded by police lines surrounding your flat.
I went to every possible exit I could think of. I was doing that for about 20 minutes before I messaged you being like, I can't get out.
You were a suspect in a case.
What's interesting about that is that while you were asleep, knowing that there was just a lot of crime happening outside.
God, that is dark, isn't it?
And I was sleeping like a little angel, like a cherub.
I've never thought about that. I once came out, when I lived in Brixton, I was walking towards Brixton Station, there was a crime scene, and I just saw the largest knife I've ever conceived of, covered in blood. I was just fast asleep.
Why did I laugh at that? Sorry.
I think because I was making an...
Yeah, you made it funny.
You weren't laughing that someone had died.
No, I was not.
But Jesus Christ, this was it was longer than my arm. It was absolutely insane, and I was just...
Ed's arm's actually only 2 inches long.
Yeah, it was a shiv.
Was it a proper machete?
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane.
You were just soundly asleep.
And I was like... Also, probably tell the listener, I didn't get back to London until 5 to 2 in the morning, and we're rolling it. Well, it's gone 9, but I think I've had about 3.5 hours sleep, so I'm feeling loopy. So this is not...
But you look quite fresh, actually.
Thank you. It's all the makeup that I put on before.
Well, is that a dig at me? Because I got in here and started putting on makeup.
No. It was a joke. As if I've done a full American Psycho.
Yeah.
Morning routine, iced my eyes, whatever. Yes, I'm feeling...
Oh, Euphoria. Do you know that scene in Euphoria?
I've never watched Euphoria, so I don't know actually.
Well, one of the characters gets up at 4 a.m.
to
get ready every day.
For school?
And it's quite an iconic scene.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll have to look that up.
It's I would say that's the this generation's American Psycho.
Euphoria?
That scene.
Excellent. Sorry, I'm getting a call from Sinn Féin.
Answer it. Answer it.
Oh, no, I'm not. Excuse me. Siri went off, and it was a Justin Cole Sinn Féin press office. Am I phoning? What the fuck's happening to my phone? What did I say that was Cole Sinn Féin?
You see that Pat Cullen's running for Sinn Féin.
Yeah, the head of the nursing union.
Gensec.
Do you know what? She's made a real error though.
Why?
Not standing in England.
No. We already said yesterday.
Did you do that
when it flashed up, we went, "Oh, Islington North, is it?"
She's really missing out on all the pro Shinners in England, of which there are millions, obviously.
Okay, so should we get into Labour?
Yes. What's happening?
The purge.
The purge. The night of the long knives.
Yeah. Anyway, now that I've said that, Ollie's satisfied. So now I can actually say what I wanted to say.
Ollie asked us to call it a purge.
He actually did. Now that we've got that done.
So we've got, what's your next line?
So last night I was at Hackney Town Hall, where Diane Abbott made an appearance to constituents, and she said that she would stand again if it was possible. She actually said by whatever means possible.
So she's presumably intending to run as an independent, if that is necessary, in Hackney North and Stoke Newington. I
don't know. Can I explain how obfuscated and unclear actually the entire thing is?
Yes, I think that's been the odd thing about people keep reporting contradictory information. Nothing has been made clearer. So yes, please.
Can I give you what I think happened?
Yes.
And then you can pick holes in it if you'd like to.
Oh, I fully intend to.
The night before last, the Times ran a piece saying that Diane Abbott will not be standing at the next election. An hour later, the broadcasters ran a piece saying that she has actually got the whip back, so it's possible she may stand. The following morning, the BBC run a story saying that Diane Abbott will definitely not run at the next election, and they say that has been confirmed by Diane Abbott. Now, that what I think happened there was, I think a BBC journalist had reached out to Diane, and I think he'd said, have you seen the reports? Are you standing at the next election? I think she answered the first question, not the second question, and that's where the confusion arose, because an hour later she was tweeting that she was very alarmed by reports that she wasn't allowed to run. I think that's where the confusion has stemmed from. Does that make sense?
It does. You were at a Diane Abbott rally last night in her constituency. What was occurring?
So many of her constituents gathered outside the town hall. Diane actually appeared and she gave a speech. And in that speech, she said, she sort of repeated those lines again. She said she was very alarmed by reports that she would not be allowed to stand at the next election, and that she would continue to fight for the constituency in any means, in any way possible. She didn't directly say she would stand as an independent candidate, but she did say she would stand by any means possible. The entire story is very confused.
It is. And I think what is really baffling is how Labour have just let this get away from them. I just don't understand how you don't. This isn't just one clean. If you're going to take out Diane Abbott as a candidate, it should just be one quick, clean action. But this is so messy, and it's everyone's interpretation of it is different. They haven't set out a clear story. I've not seen a concise, clear bit of like reporting of what is actually going on, what has happened, and I think the fallout from this will be pretty horrendous, because people are standing by Diane Abbott who aren't. It's gone beyond a factional thing. People are standing by Diane Abbott because of her stature as the first black woman MP. What a significant person that is. She is in British history. How Starmer's Labour Party will treat enemies. It's just messy.
Not even any. Well, they're talking about, like, if this is how, the line that has got away from Labour now is, if this is how you treat your first black female MP, how are you going to treat the other black women who are Labour Party members? How are you going to treat the next person who wants to stand in any constituency as a Labour MP? Yes, but you're totally right. I mean, the story has gotten away from them, and it's been made even more confusing by this line from Starmer that Diane has had the whip restored. Bizarrely, she had it restored yesterday after immense public pressure. It just so happened.
Yeah.
That was the conclusion of the investigation, was when it all became, a huge media storm. How coincidental. And then he's relying on the NEC. He's saying the NEC need to take the decision. It's not one for us. Categorically not true. They just overrode the NEC in Islington North.
That was West Streeting on the media round, just claiming it's both apolitical, it's not a political process, but equally it is very much a political process. This is what Duncan Robinson in The Economist describes as the HRification of politics, in that this is a factional thing. I think that's my interpretation, is Starmer is just trying to mould the Parliamentary Labour Party in his image, and he doesn't want the left of the Labour Party in the Parliamentary Labour Party. So that's why he's taking the actions that we've seen last night. But he used kind of an HR process. We were like, this could be an internal investigation into Diane Abbott. The outcome of that didn't really give him what he wanted, and so he's having to take quite a messy political action, because it is a political thing.
No, you're right.
Because I think people talk about British politics and try and impose standards of HR that only make sense in places of work, because parliaments are so different. Politics is so different to an actual, it'd be insane if you treated MPs like you do employees or something like that. There is different standards held, and people are able to behave in different ways.
Yeah, you're able to pick up and drop a lot easier than you are in because you're not on a lawful employment contract.
No,
do you know what I mean?
And so the HRification of these things doesn't really work. And you could, if you're going to be the leader of a political party with an ideological drive or intent, you should be big and ballsy enough to do the nasty work as well. Don't hide behind processes.
I think you hit on I think you hit the issue on the nail. With the Starmer is he didn't like the outcome when he tried to do the HR justification of this removal, because they sent her the anti-Semitism training. She completed it. There was receipt of it. And so I suppose he then got advice to say, well,
She's done
you've
it.
let Barry Shearman back into the party. You've let Neil Coyle back into the party. So you're going to have to let Diane Abbott back in if you're going to uphold standards. And he's gone, not sure about that one.
But she's a lefty.
Yeah.
That's what you said.
Barry Shearman said something absolutely atrocious.
I don't know what you said.
Let me get it up because I want to get it bang on. It's actually, I think that you'll gasp, Ed.
I look forward to being shocked.
Barry Shearman tweeted about a run on silver shekels in an apparent reference to a rumour about 2 high-profile Jewish businessmen getting peerages.
Holy shit.
I know.
And he's still in the parliamentary Labour
Oh,
Party?
yeah.
Are you joking? What the fuck?
That is insane, isn't it?
That's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, he's not
insane.
now, but, he stood down at this election. Actually, that's quite an interesting clue, that. The outcome that Labour wanted, they wanted to restore the whip to Diane Abbott, but they wanted promise that she was standing down at the next election. And she didn't want to give that promise. She wanted it to be on her own terms, whether she stood or did not stand. Perhaps there was a deal cut with Barry that said, you can have the whip back, you've got to stand down at the election. Perhaps. That is nuts. If you're thinking about principle, a guy who's making a jibe like that. Oh, he actually tweeted it. And then he was like, I don't know what came over me. It was ill-timed. Ill-timed!
Ill-timed. I don't know. I was just struck by this anti-Semitic fervour.
Yeah.
Like, that is absolutely insane.
That is nuts, isn't it?
I always like when people, like, doing things on social media is very... Writing a tweet, a post like that, spelling something out like that is... It's so deliberate and intent. I think if
you don't accidentally write something out and tweet it.
You're like, spell check and post.
And Twitter's giving you 30 seconds now as well to decide if you definitely want to post that tweet. So for 30 seconds you went, send it.
See, once when I lived in an old flat, we had a party quite late and we lived in this, we were like the only kind of young people on the street, and the people around us absolutely despised us. And we had a party once and we were just complaints at the door all day the following day. And but one neighbour didn't come and ring the doorbell to have a conversation. They hand wrote,
"No,
you are bastards," and posted it to
my
our
God.
letterbox. And we were all thinking, like, imagine being like writing that down and that not calming you down. You're still being incensed enough to be like, right, where's my envelope?
yeah."
And then it was also like the boys in a dress.
How loud were you?
I think it was just late. It was late because there was a balcony. I think their complaints were.
Was it one party
Yes, it was
on a weekend?
Yeah, it was Saturday night.
Sorry, tough shit. You're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
One party on a Saturday night.
Yep.
Why are you living in the capital city of a country if you can't handle someone having one party a year?
Yeah,
That's ridiculous.
Am I going to give them some credit?
Listen, I do shift work. I'm up sometimes at 4 a.m, and there'll be people screaming outside at midnight. Do you think I'm going to go out there and tell them to shut the fuck up? No, I'm not.
No,
I chose to live here.
You just do that with logistics companies.
No, but that's because they have no right. They don't have a permit.
Cities are for people, not for construction.
No. They don't have a permit to be drilling at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday night. Where's the permit, JSM?
Yes.
That's what I want to know.
Yep.
You know you're not allowed to do it, and you're doing it because it's cheaper than paying to shut the road down during the day. Thank you for bringing it up, Ed. Thank you.
Should we talk about the other purges that occurred last night?
Faiza Shaheen.
Yep.
She was, I suppose, what would be described as one of the last socialist candidates to be selected. She was kind of like at the beginning of the selection process before there was Maurice MacLeod followed her, and he was similarly socialist, and he was tipped to be the next Labour candidate, and he was like one of the first socialists to be not chosen, not selected, right? So she was out campaigning, and then she found out that You're not made the cut.
Nope.
And then Lloyd Russell Moyle,
Yeah.
he
Who's the current, former MP for Brighton Kemp Town.
Yeah. He actually was on this channel a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
He was suspended over a complaint about his behaviour that the Labour Party are investigating. Now, apparently, he denies the claim, but the Labour Party say that there isn't enough time to investigate the claim and also stand for election, so he must stand down.
Mm-hmm. And so he says the complaint is vexatious.
Yes.
It's interesting, isn't it? I think this speaks to how poorly managed these things are, because these three people are ideologically split from Starmer, but the optics are in really quite a messy way. You have blocked a black woman, a gay man, and a Muslim woman from standing.
Well, okay, let's slow down. Because the quite clear elephant that is taking up a lot of space in this room is that these are all socialist MPs and Keir Starmer doesn't want to have socialists in the party. However, that is not to diminish what they did. Diane Abbott should categorically not have written that letter.
No.
And it was right, hands down, that she was chastised by the Labour Party and she was told to do some training. What happened after that? That's the bad bit. That's where Labour are at fault, right? She should have been absolved. She apologised. She completed the training. She should have been absolved. Faisal Shaheen, she liked that tweet. She should not have liked that tweet. I will not. I actually won't even. I won't even sit here and entertain anyone who goes, "You can't say anything about Israel." No. That was not a tweet she should have been liking, and she should not have been expressing those sentiments, and she should be told off for it, and she should have to have internal meetings with the Labour Party. If she can't justify or apologise and know that is wrong, then I don't think that she should fit into the Labour Party. Lloyd Russell Moyle, I don't know about these claims. Is the timing deeply suspicious? Yes. Should the Labour Party have investigated this pretty quick? Yes.
Or even after the election.
But then what if it was a Tory MP? What if it was a Tory MP who had been accused of poor behaviour? Would we say that they should let him run for election, or would we say typical Tory?
Well, I think because we don't know the details of the complaint, so I'd like to think we would be fair about that to Conservative MP. I understand what you're saying though, but I think the just blanket removing him from standing for re-election of what he described as a vexatious complaint could be that's what he says. It's the incorrect.
Process here that is poor.
I think with Faiz as well, other tweets that were marked as reasons as to why she couldn't be a Labour, she should not be standing for Labour, is she liked a tweet supporting the Green Party before she joined the Labour Party, and she liked a tweet that said that the Labour Party was institutionally Islamophobic. She's a Muslim. If she's not able to talk about her own experiences of Islamophobia or express those opinions,
don't you dare talk about your experiences of Islamophobia.
Don't
you dare.
I think those are. It's just messy. It doesn't look that good for Starmer.
It is messy. It's just messy.
Yeah, ugly.
I don't know, but it's all and I mean I think old liked tweets as well, because the thing about Pfizer, which is what's so confusing about this, is that they had been, that was on their radar for a considerable amount of time. Why now?
Because so close to an election, they can just blitz it. They can blitz it in out, and then hopefully get the media talking about something else, or do something today. This
Luke Akehurst has been deleting a lot of tweets. He's just been selected for Durham North.
Yes, he's a member of the Labour NEC.
So anyway, the public are going to be looking at this like same old Labour, exactly where they were a few years ago, unable to deal with a crisis, unable to deal with any kind of contention, interfighting constantly, unable to have a broad church.
Or they see from the opposite side, Keir Starmer, ruthless, getting these what they might perceive to be unsavoury aspects of the Labour Party nipped in the bud, gone.
If he was ruthless, he would just do it properly. He
Yeah,
wouldn't
no,
rely on the
it's-
NEC. He
he's
wouldn't be like,
botched
the
it.
NEC have to make the decision. It's nothing to do with me.
You know, when you read about like when people were beheaded and like it took the axeman like 3 or 4 goes, and you're like, that's horrific. That sounds awful. Just like someone's still alive, but they're kind of
Yeah,
heads hanging off a bit like that. That'd be an awful way to go.
that's what's happening now. Is that what you mean?
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
a really good.
It's like
I like that.
it's a blunt axe.
Yeah,
It's like a headman with a blunt axe.
I enjoyed that. Right, let's go, boys. Scotland.
Scotland. I was in Scotland.
Yeah.
At the weekend. That's not. Oh, I was, but that wasn't for work. What, can you tell if I had 3 hours sleep?
What were you doing that wasn't work related?
What was I doing? Hanging out with my family.
Dork.
Saw my grandmother's. You see your family all the time. Yeah. Anyway.
Was it nice seeing your family?
Yes, it was. It was lovely. And then I interviewed the First Minister on Tuesday.
He's your dad.
Yes, my dad. My dad. I did a podcast actually on Monday as well.
Yeah.
Podcast called the Some Laugh Podcast, which is
Who's on that?
3 Scottish comedians. So
Oh,
I
yeah?
sat down with Mark Jennings to do a kind of
Oh, I like him.
election preview, which is actually out now. I think it's good fun.
Yeah.
He's got a really slick studio set up in his. Well, maybe this is public knowledge. Maybe it's not. It's in his dad's shed. He picked me up in the centre of Glasgow and drove me to where his dad lives, and it's like a 3 or 4 cam setup, really like slick multi-cam operation just in a
Nice.
shed. Yeah, it was good fun.
Nice.
It was good fun. And then I sat down with the First Minister, John Swinney, at the SNP HQ, and it was actually one of the most bizarre interview setups I've ever had, where we rock up and we have 15 minutes for the First Minister and the press officer. So we walk into like an open plan office, and the First Minister is like, the press officer is like, we're just going to do it here. And I was like, with all
In the round.
where are all the people going to go? That's what I thought. Didn't ask that. The answer was nowhere. So there was a 30-person audience
Yeah.
for my interview with the First Minister.
Nice. It's like Gladiators or Newsnight. The live version.
But I was also like, this is quite odd, because when I started asking about the SNP are doing quite badly in the polls at the moment, there was 30 people who are working. They work for the SNP, so they're inherent. I was like, are they going to be pissed off? It's quite odd being like, I'm almost slagging off these people's work as they're listening. It's quite an off-putting place to do an interview.
Did anyone turn around when you said something like particularly provocative?
I didn't. I actually was trying not to look at them. Someone started using the microwave during the interview.
No, they did not.
They did. I was like, it was insane.
That's
And 'cause
ridiculous.
we had like a tight 15. If it was like a longer interview, it'd been like, can we?
Yeah.
not?
But you were.
But
It was
15
tight.
minutes. I was
tight.
locked in. I was locked in.
Why would you think that was acceptable to go and use a microwave when
Honestly.
people were doing that? Why would you think
It
that?
was absolutely bizarre.
You've just set something off in me that's really enraged me. Get that man on the phone.
But it must have been like, it was just odd. And yeah, we spoke about he called for the UK to recognise Palestine as a state in its own right. He'd written
That's important because Ireland, France, and Spain have. Did France?
not France, Ireland,
Sorry.
Norway, and Spain.
Yeah.
Ireland, Norway,
Sorry.
and Spain did. It's not a new position for the SNP. Hamza Yousaf did that about 6 months ago, but it's like a dividing line for the SNP between them and the other and the Westminster parties. And we also spoke about the Labour SNP's chances in the Westminster election. Sorry, I think it's really starting to show how little
It doesn't
sleep I've had.
sound like that at all.
And then we also spoke about the Michael Matheson case,
Yeah.
which I think is one of the strangest bits, political decisions by a party leader.
Why? Can't a brother just spend on the public dollar? Like, what's wrong?
What's wrong with Britain today if you can't expense what? What is it? £11,000
Yeah.
on a holiday?
Can't someone's child make an error and then the public taxpayer picks up after him?
I think for anyone who doesn't know about the Matheson stuff, Michael Matheson, who was the health secretary in the Scottish government in Christmas 2022, he racked up an £11,000 data roaming bill while he was on holiday, and then tried to expense it because he was using his parliamentary iPad, which he shouldn't really have been using abroad.
No.
For security issues.
No, you shouldn't be taking that abroad.
No.
Or, I mean, if you are, you shouldn't be handing it over to your children to use.
No. And that's what he said. He was like, so he initially said he was using it to do constituency work, so it was a legitimate expense.
And he said it was emails. And it was like anyone with like a vague knowledge of data would know you wouldn't be able to do that.
Grand.
Yeah.
And then it turns out he then admitted that he then admitted that his sons were watching. He says his sons were watching football. I don't know where he might have glanced at the screen. I don't know. But the line is, someone was watching football. He says it was his sons, and so
which I think is more egregious.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I'm putting the portion of blame onto your sons. So there was the Standards Committee in the Scottish Parliament recommended that he be suspended, and that vote actually succeeded yesterday. That passed, but John Swinney initially said he was going to challenge the decision, because he questioned. He said it'd been prejudged by one of the Tory MSPs on the Standards Committee.
What the fuck?
It's absolutely
it's mental.
It's also just such a budget political scandal. Like, there's actually the stakes of this are actually quite low. It's not to do with it's not really like Owen Paterson, where there's a broader discussion about lobbying, for instance, and the influence that private companies have over parliamentary things. It's, should this man have spent £11,000 and tried to get the Scottish people to pay for that? No, obviously not. And it's such an unpopular thing in Scotland. 65% of people think that Matheson should resign as an MSP in total, and I just don't understand the rationale of John Swinney standing by Matheson.
No, it's mental.
There's
unless I think you really don't understand that you could not have used that amount of data on emails, and that there's a discrepancy in because do you know I just think how it's very natural for us to know that streaming a football game would cost a lot of money. Doing emails, you probably wouldn't even break 20 quid if you did it for 7 days in a row. We know that naturally. Perhaps if you're not as engaged with tech, you might not understand that.
I don't even think it's that. He's like, he said, he made a mistake and he's apologised.
Yeah, pay for it.
But then equally, it's not a mistake.
Yeah.
It was deliberate.
Yeah.
It was deliberate. You can't, it's like we were saying, you can't mistakenly send a tweet. You can't mistakenly try to claim £11,000 in expenses from the Scottish Parliament.
Yeah.
It's deliberate.
Cool.
It's absolutely insane. And he's also
huge error.
You're talking about the Scottish Conservatives are being accused of politicising this.
Politicizing it.
Yes.
What else would you do with it?
Yes, that's my point. It's politics. It's a political issue. The former
Nationalise it.
the former Scot, unfortunately for John Swinney, something one of his MSPs has done really, really stupid. Yeah, that is politically convenient for Douglas Ross. I'm sorry, it is. But you can't. And
it would be really weird if they said nothing about it.
Justice has been done.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Fair enough, buddy. We've all been there.
We've all been there, pal. Imagine there was silence because everyone had been doing that.
Yeah.
There hadn't been an expenses scandal in the Scottish Parliament, so they're all still running up massive bills.
There is a conversation to be had about why the hell phone providers are allowed to charge that, are allowed to let you rack up that bill.
Absolutely. And if Matheson had come out and been like, I've been the victim of predatory data roaming charges.
Yeah.
He could have spun it, been like, oh, I'm a complete moron. Yeah. I've been the victim of this. Led a campaign, whatever. Maybe we got some good press out of it. Instead of just being like, no, it was fine. I should continue as my job as an MSP.
I think it shows that he's a terrible politician, because what a good politician would have done, a good politician, they would have gone to the phone provider and they would have said, you get rid of this bill immediately, or I'm going to change the legislation so that you can't do it at all to anyone.
You'd have House of Cards that...
Go and lobby like a proper politician.
Yeah.
Have you learned nothing?
Well, guys, you might not know this. You've got me over a barrel here. I will do anything for you guys.
Yeah.
I owe you guys £11,000.
Yeah.
And I will give... whatever mobile phone company it was,
or
I'll
go
give
to a betting
tax
company
breaks
and get them to pay for it.
Yeah.
Grow up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so he's been suspended, and we will. It just stinks, though. It's just like, what? I don't understand why. It's also, he's only been First Minister for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And he spent quite a lot, like a fair proportion of that defending the indefensible.
I think that man is a thief. I'm sorry, I think he is. No, I do. I really think. I think that claiming £11,000 off the public purse for your data roaming charges, I think that's theft.
Yeah. He ended up paying the bill himself or paying the money back.
Yeah, but
it's
not the outcome he wanted.
No.
Like,
imagine how much trouble those kids are in.
Yeah.
You've ended Dad's political career, thanks to your selfish desire to watch The Old Firm in Christmas 2022.
But you know what I mean? But couldn't you have gone into like a bar and watched it?
In Morocco, probably not.
I would put money on it that they'd be showing it somewhere in Morocco.
Maybe, yeah. There's not a time difference in Morocco, is there?
Actually, I guess if it's who was playing,
Rangers and Celtic.
They'd so be showing that there.
I don't know if anyone's listening in Morocco. Is there an Irish bar you can watch?
There must be. There must be.
I think there probably almost definitely is.
Everyone's you can, like, no matter what country you go into, you can always watch the Premier League.
Yeah, the Scottish Premier League's different. Scottish Premiership is different.
No, but I was thinking because it's Celtics and Rangers.
Celtics.
Celtic. What?
Is Celtic.
What did I say?
Celtics.
Oh, sorry. Fuck you.
Sorry, just made me laugh.
Anyway,
sorry,
but
how are Everton's getting on?
You could say that.
Yes, I shall.
I'm going to double down on it. Say you could say that. Right. You're going to have a full podcast on this, aren't you?
Yes, the interview with John Sweeney's out on YouTube already, but there'll be a podcast version of it at some point soon. Maybe when I've had more sleep.
Well, I think we should let them know that it'll probably be on Sunday.
Maybe, yeah. You take the reins. I'm
and there'll be some insightful analysis from Ed to go alongside it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I promise.
Yeah.
There sure will be. Have we got anything else?
No.
Excellent. Thank you all for listening. We'll be back tomorrow.
Ed will have slept by then.
Hopefully.
I think you seem okay.
I don't feel okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been on a long flight.
Well, I guess you were on a long train.
Yes, trains are boring, aren't they?
No. Wrong.
Right. Correct.
Wrong.
Correct.
There's no, like, to me, like, my happiness is I'm on a train.
What if it's midnight and you just stopped? You just stopped somewhere
I'd be
in England.
listening to Midnight Train to Georgia, looking out the window, and I'd be like, yeah.
Do you know what I watched on the train, actually?
What?
Have you seen Roger and Me, the Michael Moore documentary?
No.
It's very good. Would recommend it. Well, famous. What a fucking dumb thing to recommend. You know, it's like recommending the Godfather is quite good. Yeah, I feel like you actually really like this film. Pulp Fiction.
This Michael Moore bloke, he's all right.
It's pretty clever.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good stuff.
I met him.
You met Michael Moore?
Yeah.
When?
He came in to do an interview at the last job I had.
That's cool.
Yeah. I didn't think that he would come in. I thought he would do it down the line.
Wow.
And he came in.
My mum once said to me, I put on a hat, and she was like, you look like Michael Moore.
Sick.
Shut up. I didn't take it in a very complimentary
Nora's
way.
really enjoying that one.
I'm also wearing a hat right now and wearing glasses, so maybe I look like Michael Moore.
Oh, Michael.
I'd like to make as many good films as Michael Moore. Thank you everyone for listening. Like and subscribe to this video on YouTube. Leave us a review on whatever audio platform you're listening, and we'll be back tomorrow with Ollie, presumably.
See you then.
Bye.